Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Lonely Wrist. Today, super excited, and this has been a long time coming. We have Akin from Elka Watch. Welcome.
Thank you. Nice to meeting you, Blake, and so looking forward
Again,
to here.
again. Yeah. Kind of interesting story on how I wouldn't say how we met, but how I found your watch brand is I was looking at like some of the I don't know what watch show it was. It was in Switzerland or something, and you were showcasing there. And it's always cool to see like because there's a lot of brands that don't get the credibility they deserve. And I would think Elka is a good example of you have an amazing product and you're new to the market, but you have a very, very, very special product. And I'm so excited for the world to see. Uh and yeah, so I saw your products and I was like, holy crap. Like I have to at some point in my life get one of these watches either in my hand or in my collection. And you made that happen with my Elka X and this dial is just so beautiful. Like it's got the vintage charm, but it feels like a modern watch. And that's what I love. That's what I
Thank
love.
you.
So congratulations. Let's talk about the early days of Elka. How did you get the brand going? How'd you get into the watch industry? Like what brought you to today?
Okay, so my story is quite long in the watch industry. So I was working for different brands from the Swatch group at the beginning. So I started in '98, working for Swatch for 4 years. Then I went working for Hamilton for 10 years, and at the end, so I ended by Rado, and I was working there for 11 years. And during that time, also, I was working for different brands like Timberland, ASICS, and Mango. So we did some watches like OEM watches for different companies, also working within the group. And so then I left in January 21, and I wanted to start my dream, starting to do something by my own, starting to do something that's really pleased me. I mean, I don't say that I didn't like what I did before, but I wanted to do it right for me and for, I mean, with my name, my nickname, and everything. So doing something that I really like. So be passionate about what I'm doing.
And it really shows. Obviously Elka is derived from your name. Didn't take too much to figure that out. And then obviously since you've had the idea for Elka, how has the brand evolved?
You know, at the beginning, so the idea was not really to have the name Elka as a brand name. So I had the dream to protect the name Elgin. You know, I mean, it's an American name, an American brand. I love what I did at Hamilton. So Hamilton was really my heart brand, and I wanted to continue also the story with something also with the same story, you know, I mean, the railroad watch, the army watch, and everything. So I love this kind of spirit. So my environment is quite American in, I mean, in style. So riding a Harley Davidson, driving a Chrysler, something like this. You know, I mean, I like this kind of stuff. And then I wanted to protect Elgin, but that was already taken. And then I went through a big list of names. So something, I mean, with the name of watch, existing watches, and also the one which disappeared. And I felt on Elka, and Elka is my nickname. So everyone is calling me Elka. And then I said, okay, so I don't have to really find something else. Is the name available? And then I jumped in and protected it. That's
It
it.
was it was from my reading. It was it a Dutch brand or something like
It
that?
was, yeah, it was a Dutch brand. It was created in 1877 by Mr. Edouard Louis Kick from Amsterdam, Elka. And he had something like 5 shops in Amsterdam. And he was also the jeweler and watchmaker of the Queen Juliana at that period. And after that, in 1930, he sent his son in Switzerland to develop watches. And from so they did a lot of collaboration also with different other brands like Vulcain, like Minerva, like different other brands.
Yeah, and obviously, like, you have a very, very, very tight, I would call it tight design language. Um, and your watches are pretty, I'd say, recognizable. Like they're very clean, they're very legible. You don't have anything crazy going on. It's all about legibility, and I would consider practicality while giving it
Mhm.
like a modern twist.
Mhm.
So when you're designing these watches, like, what feels like the future of the brand? Is it, I mean, obviously practicality and
Yeah.
legibility are huge for your brand.
I
Uh,
will reply. I will reply in different words. I mean, first of
sure.
all, I mean the first design so I had was this watch. This watch was my first pocket watch that I bought from the brand, and you can see the mini track, and you can see also the shape of the watch, and this shape is exactly what I took to design my model. I want also to integrate sustainability here because I mean the design are going to evolve. You have the design of watches, and every year something is changing. Every 5 years there are big trends. So when the period is fine, is nice, is good, so you have big watches with a lot of stones, with a lot of colors. Then when the period is a little bit more hard, so that the watches are getting smaller. And I would like to compare my watches to something which is really big, bulky, a lot of colors, and something like this. And I would say all the design I want to have are something that were taken from the past, and they are like the Harley Davidson of the watches, something that are already old, which are not looking old today, and which are not going to be old in 15 years or 50 years. So it's something that you can really wear, I mean, at any period of your life. And so this is the way I'm designing the things, is something which is classic, minimalist, and something is going to be also wearable, I mean, for many years. Where I'm going to head my design, this is something also else, but it's something that I want really to keep. I mean, I based the design of the logo. The design of the pictures are black and white. Everything is based in the 60s. I was born in the 60s. So then, okay, I like this period because that was a period that was really open for everyone in terms of design, in terms of freedom, in terms of, I mean, that was really crazy period. And the idea is really to start developing, designing, and to continue designing product from that period.
Amazing. And something I've noticed that's very special about your watch is the case shape. Like something that nobody sees online. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, nobody gets to experience online, should I say.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but what's crazy is it's like it's what it's in terms of thickness, it should be. It's pretty standard, right? Like it's probably, I'd say, like 10 millimeters thick or so, or around
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
But it wears like it's 4 or 5 millimeters thick
Mm-hmm.
because
Yeah.
of the way the case design, and I've never seen anything
Mm-hmm.
like it.
I
And that,
think the main item on the watch is the sapphire crystal. The sapphire
totally.
crystal is built like the old Esalid glass. Okay, in the past it was really in plastic, and today, I mean, we can do it in sapphire crystal, and this gives really this shape. So you have the feeling. So I don't know. I mean, it's kind of, yeah, okay, not so clear on the screen, but okay, you have the feeling to see only the metal part, but you can see on top the sapphire crystal, which is going up, and everything is built inside. So the hands are bent, the dial is bent. So I have a dial here, for instance. Okay, so you can see also the dial is also bent like this. Then you can see,
Wow.
I mean, all the construction is built inside in order to have this kind of really slim effect.
And just the way that like you use these really like beautiful long leaf hands and like this exaggerated like counter weight like on the second hand, it just is so fun. See if everybody can see mine.
Mhm. So all the space is taken, all the space
And yeah,
is,
I
yeah, we can see it well.
yeah. Yeah, it's really what is it's awesome. Yeah, and I love how you kept the name, you know, like the way the logo is presented, you know?
Mhm.
And then you have your modern one back there.
Yeah,
Um,
and you see here, so the logo was the same here in the past.
yeah. I know, that's what I liked about it, so and then obviously, like, the finishing, you know, like, the finishing is well is as good as you're gonna get for the money, if not better. Um, and I'm assuming coming from the watch industry, a lot of people who started watch brands who had kind of that head start, you know, coming from Swatch Group and now leaning into your own brand. Did you have any challenge like finding suppliers or like actually kicking it off? It just fell right into your lap. Is that
No, in fact, so I'm working for the Swatch Group and knowing a lot of suppliers. And I mean, when I launched also, and I started also the brand, that was during the COVID period. And this period of time, so everyone was at home or was in the office and there were nobody else. So then it was really easy to meet everyone, to talk to everyone, to know, I mean, where I wanted to go with the collection. And that was really, really nice period. I mean, not for everyone, sorry, but that was really nice period to start also working on my project. And yeah, so I'm working with the same people as I was working in the past, more or less. I mean, not all of them, but most of the people that I was working with before, they followed me, and that was really nice. Also, a kind of reward also after working 25 years in a group. So people who followed me, that was really nice.
and um and obviously you just launched, you know, we're recording this in August, right? So you guys are listening to this like way out there. But you just had your diver released, the
Hmm.
Arinis, if I'm pronouncing that correctly.
Yeah, this one.
Um, and it seems like, I mean, is that your new baby now? Because every post I see on your Instagram, you're posting that one now, and it seems like the X and the D are kind of being outshined at this point.
No, no, not at all. No, no, I have to rework on that. You know, I mean, as it's a new baby, so the new baby born, and you talk always about the new baby born, but you don't have to forget. I mean, the old models because they are not old at all.
Totally, totally. And I'm glad that you came out with a bracelet, you know, because now I need to get a bracelet for my ex. So I'm gonna have to hit you up about that.
So
Um,
I mean, it's also, I mean, it's the same bracelet that you can fit. I mean, on different watches.
and also something that really stuck out, like when I was going through your collection and I was trying to decide, you know, obviously you and I have been going back and forth, and I was like, I was kind of at your portfolio is so fun, is so playful. You could pretty much go anywhere. You can find a watch for any situation. And some of the watches that really stuck out were some of your special edition watches, your limited edition watches. Like particularly the stuff with like Ace Jewelers, which
That
are
was,
just insanely beautiful. Insanely
so,
beautiful.
yeah, it was a limited edition of 4 watches. Hopla, can you
Oh,
see that?
yeah,
Hopla.
I'm trying to blow you up
Okay.
here.
So it was limited. Oops. So the other way. Okay. Oops. Okay, so we have different languages. So we have the standard Arabic numerals. Then we have the kind of Eastern Arabic numerals, Chinese, and Hebrew.
It's and then you have just the no printed dial. I don't know if that's the proper term for it. Where it's just finished, just beautifully finished.
This one you mean?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, 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 yes.
Okay. Not easy to show,
Insanely.
but I mean, it's totally reversed on the screen.
Yeah, yeah. Sorry. We have a lot of people that listen to us through like Spotify and Apple. So everybody, we're gonna have to jump onto YouTube and you have to look at some of these beautiful watches Hakim is showing off. Um, but then you also did the collaboration with Heroes, which is also a very cool watch. Uh, it's is yeah. I mean, I love how subtle it is. It keeps the brand language kind of coming through, and and yeah. I mean, I think I was reading, or maybe we had talked about it, like you and I offline, or maybe I was reading, but you were talking about how important it was for you to like to develop with or to develop a product with a Dutch company because of the
Mhm.
foundation of the brand and the way, the identity that followed.
Yeah. And
Um,
may I just say something which is
please.
also something interesting because I met Alain Ben Joseph in 2008. And I mean, when I told him that I was restarting Elka brand, he told me, you know what? I bought two stores from Mr. Kik. And then we said, okay, so we have to do something. So and the circle is, I mean, is circled. Can we say that? So
Yeah,
yeah,
for
it's
sure.
amazing because I mean he bought two stores now. I mean he has only one left, but I mean two stores, and he knew Mr. Kick, so that was really amazing. I mean to develop something, and we had to do something together. Yes.
And then, obviously when you're kind of designing a modern vintage is what I would classify you as, and you can correct me if I'm wrong. But obviously, there becomes a lot of challenges when you're trying to balance like vintage design aesthetics while keeping them and having them feel modern. So that's probably a really challenging question. But how do you balance those two kind of extremes?
And the design is really based from the past. So the thing is, I just want to have the impression that is coming from the past. But the thing is, we are talking to people who are living today. So then, if you look at the shape of the watch from the side, so it's not an old product. It's something that you can wear today, something which is based on our time. So I have some ideas from the product from the past. I have also a lot of books and talking about old watches. So then I can really take inspiration from the past. And also, I mean, the two pieces here, I mean, the one that we can see on the back, which is the X model. So this is based from an air flight instrument which was done by Heuer at that time for Elka brand. And the second one, the D model that I have here, was an Ulysse Nardin model, which is exactly the same. So I can share also with you pictures, but okay, I don't have them here. So
That's okay.
it's really a piece that was designed by Ulysse Nardin for Elka around the 60s.
And so yeah, I mean that was kind of my next question, but it sounds like you started off with developing the X and then you went to the D,
Mhm.
and then I'm sure you probably did your limited editions in between that time, and then the Arinis. Is that the way that you unfolded the collection?
The Arinis is okay at the beginning. So okay, I did a lot of changes also while developing it, but the idea was really to have the same dimension. So it's exactly the same dimension. So if you take the Arinis or up like this, the Arinis and the X model or the D model are exactly the same size. So if you look at the dimensions, it's 46 millimeter from lux to lux. It's 41 millimeter diameter. And so everything is basically the same. I just added a bezel on it. And the idea was also to have something really clean in terms of design. So something pure, minimalistic, like, I mean, the rest of the collection.
It really shows. We talked a little bit about like, you know, using like Le Joux-Perret. Like what is it for you that said, okay, Le Joux-Perret is the watch that I am gonna, or the movement I'm gonna use to power my watches? Like it seems
Mhm.
like Le Joux-Perret is carving themselves a huge name because of how reliable they are, how well they're produced, and how well they're finished. And I mean, you have so many options.
Mhm.
But was it just a no brainer for you just to start using Le Joux-Perret, or did you have
Mm,
that
mm,
concept in your mind where you went back
mm,
and forth about? I mean, obviously, you're coming from Swatch, right? You would think like Etta or right, you know, something of. I mean, even maybe Solita, but um, you know, of course, there's supply chain issues getting Etta movements, and then you know, Solita produced Etta movements or assembled Etta movements for a really long time. So what is it about Le Joux-Perret that just said, hey, this
mm.
is the watch, the movement that's going to power my watches?
Yeah. So, of course, I mean, during many years, I was working with the ETA movement. When, okay, I start looking at the different movements, so the La Joux-Perret was not available at that time when I started looking at that. And the only ones which were available were the Celita and the Soprod movement. So, and everyone, I mean, doing a micromovement, were using that this kind of movement, which are, I mean, copies of the ETA movement, the
Yep.
28 24.
Yep.
Then, so I had the chance to meet the people from La Joux-Perret, and I was at the beginning. The first prototype I did with my watches were, I mean, the first pieces tested by La Joux-Perret. So the construction of this movement is the same size as all the others, so we were saying before, but the construction is totally different. Furthermore, they have also 68 hours power reserve, and it's really accurate. So usually, so I'm having them. So how do you say that? Oh, I'm losing my words. Precision of the movement.
Yeah. Yeah.
Normally,
Yeah.
it's minus 12 plus 12. So when we have them, the accuracy, sorry, the accuracy of the movement is minus 12 plus 12. And I'm giving that to my watchmaker, and then he's setting them at plus minus 5. But usually, so he is more at 0, plus 2, or minus 2. So it's, which is really, really fine. And then the accuracy of each model. So each model I'm wearing is super fine. Never had any problem with this movement. And so I'm really happy to have something which is different, which gives also an added value to the product. So that's position also the brand, I mean, in certain way, a little bit higher than other micros.
Yeah. Obviously, we are in the end of August, but you guys are listening to this in October 15th, and I think Hakim has a few things to show us, right? That maybe have since been released since our recording, if I'm not mistaken. Is that?
Yeah, sure. So my next project is, in fact, the project I started 3 years ago. So a project that I wanted to start, so having no idea about that, because after working 25 years in the watch industry, I wanted to do something else. And then I woke up in the morning and I said, okay, I will do a local whiskey. No idea how the whiskey was manufactured, no idea at all. And then so I started asking and I wanted to buy, the alembic, or I don't know what's the name in English, to process the liquid. I had no idea also what was the base of what to do. And so I wanted to start by a small production. And in fact, so I had to buy 12,000 liters of beer. Okay, it's
Like the mash.
the mash, yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
12,000 liters. So that was not easy to have it on my trunk. So then
Yeah.
we had to rent a big truck and to transfer all the mash to the distiller to do, I mean, the first base of the whiskey. So in fact, so here, this is my bottle. So it's, I mean, here that will be the bottle. Okay. The logo, okay, represents a Celtic wheel that was found a few meters from my house here, that has 2,600 years old. That was a Celtic
Wow.
one. And it was made of oak wood. So this is reason why I wanted also to have it on it. And that tells also the story, the same story as I'm telling with the Arinis. So I will have each bottle numbered, okay, that way, okay, and it will be a single cask whiskey here, 3 years old. But what is interesting, so I bought some cask, 60 liters cask or 58-liter casks, and that were made of old barrels of cognac. So barrels that were something like 100 years old barrels of cognac. So it means now in a small cask, you have a maturation which is faster than a normal barrel. That is almost 3 times faster than a big barrel. And so then you have also the taste of the cognac into the whiskey, which is really good. So I will launch my first set, 3 years old, and then after that, I will open cask and cask. I will do only single cask.
Wow.
And of course, I mean, developing something like this, and then I had my idea. So maybe I can see you. I want to show
Yeah.
your face also, and
Yeah.
then I wanted to do something that is really in link with the whiskey. And of course, I will show you from far end. Okay, so that is going to be a watch that has the look of the whiskey, so the shape and the color of the whiskey from far away, because I have to change the hands and I
Oh,
have to change few things. And that is going to be a limited edition, 25 piece, the limited edition whiskey color.
oh, man. You're gonna have to send me some pictures on WhatsApp,
I
like
will,
so I
I
can.
will send you. I will send you something. Okay, it's not finalized. I have really
Of
to
course.
finalize the product. That is my first prototype. I have really to change few things, but the color is really the color of my whiskey. It's
I
amazing.
I was actually getting ready to ask that because, when we had talked before, and you were sending me pictures of whiskey, and I was
Mhm.
like, "Oh, like it's very clear that that you're a very passionate person about the things that you work on, and you go all in and put your heart into your projects. It shows in Elka, and it also is starting to show in your whiskey brand. But I also can't imagine too many Swiss whiskey making companies because I mean it's an American spirit, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's Scottish. I would say it's
Okay, yeah,
Scottish.
sorry, yeah.
No, in fact, there are something like 10 Swiss whiskies. That's it. And
Wow.
the thing is, if I'm correct, but I have really to find into the archives, I think 100 years ago, it was not allowed by the law to manufacture whiskey because all the seeds were grown to eat them, but not to drink them.
Sure.
So I have to find that. I heard that last week, but I have to find also information about that because it's really interesting also to be able doing a whiskey today, but that was not allowed in the past.
And I was actually getting ready to ask, but you answered my question already. That I was gonna see if you could kind of integrate the two. I mean, it's hard to have a whiskey brand and then to also have a watch brand and to tie those together. But
Yeah, when I developed the whiskey, that was before, doing the watch brand, and I did that really because that was a crazy idea. And then I think I realized probably 4 months ago, okay, I can do the connection between the two things. And the name of what my whiskey, it's called Loch, and in fact, it's a small lake. Sorry, it's so I'm working on the label.
sure.
The name is a small lake that is really not far away from my house. It's about 500 meters from here, and it's called Le Loch. It's a small lake, really small, but the name is a Celtic name. So I heard that also from the museum that is not far from here, and the circle is circled.
Is so I was in Switzerland in January, and we talked about this too because I was in Neuchâtel,
Mhm.
and obviously we didn't get a chance to meet in person, but I also went to Lillochla, where I mean you have two other watch brands. Is that the same area that you're referring to?
I don't know. If you are talking about,
Lillochla is just right outside of Neuchâtel, like
yeah, it's
maybe
right outside. Direction to
yeah.
Marin, and there is another brand also in Saint-Blaise that you have met also last time.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, Beauvais, right? Is that what you're
No,
referring
no,
to?
no, no. Beauvais, it's close to Le Loch, and here is Le Loch. It's different.
Okay, okay. Sorry, I'm getting myself kind of regionally confused because it was like a week that I was there, and I literally was doing like two brands back to back for like 4 days. I landed, I slept for like 12 hours, 20 hours, or something crazy. I don't remember. And then back to back to back to back to back.
Mhm.
And anyways, so I guess that leads to the question as whenever you buy the limited edition watch, or is there a bottle that's going to be with it, or
Yeah, that is my dream to do, but I have a big problem sending alcohol in the United States. I think it's
yeah,
not easy. It's something that is complicated. So, in
totally.
fact, if you are coming to Switzerland, I will, organize a tasting of the whiskey, and then I will give you a bottle of whiskey.
I
But
that was my next question. Is like, how are you going to get it to us? How can we enjoy it?
I don't know. I don't know. I really have to see now with all the transporter. I will have to see with importer of alcohol in the United States to see how I can do that. But for the time being, so I have no solution, and probably that's the reason why nobody is sending alcohol also abroad if they are not in this market.
That makes
Mm.
sense. And I'll definitely take you up on that because I am going to come back and we're going to hang and I'm gonna see some of the new watches, and I'm gonna enjoy some of that with you. I'm not a huge drinker, but when in Rome, right, or in this case, Neuchâtel.
Uh-huh.
Uh, let's take a shift back to the watch brand, and and obviously Elka. I mean, you've had some press done. You've been featured on some of the Teddy Baldessar content, which I had no idea until after you and I had connected and I started doing some research. Um, and then, as you progress through your limited editions, are you seeing any similarities in the Elka customers? Like who would be your ideal customer? I know that's a really hard, loaded question, but when you were designing this watch, right? Very few people, or in some cases, uh, design watches with other people in mind. I know that sounds so selfish, right? And we're in the watch industry, right? This is
Mhm.
a selfish industry.
Mhm.
So when you were designing this product, did you have a customer that you wanted to target in mind, or were you just saying, hey, if I make one of these watches and it is badass and I'm the only one that wears it, I'm happy?
You are almost right. I mean, so there are a lot of different brands. Can find on the market a lot of different super brands, which I love. The problem is, okay, lots also of them are kind of copycat. Mine are really simple in terms of design, really easy to accept in terms of look design, but I would say it's really a niche brand because I mean it doesn't please to everyone. I know, I mean it pleases, and I know that also it's something that is recognizable, which is really good, and it will take probably more time to develop this brand than something that could be different. In terms of design, I did it as a selfish because I wanted to develop this type of shape because I love that. And it reminds me a bit the kind of German brands like Bauhaus. I like this type of design, but mixed also with the army type of design. I mean, the field watch. I mean, the
Yeah,
one
the
that you
military.
can
Yeah.
see here on the back is really kind of army. So that is reminds me the Hamilton khaki field or something like this, so, but in a different way. So it's a mix between things that I loved developing during the years I was working in this industry.
And yeah, I mean, I'm sure you're probably aware, and I mean more so than I am, but obviously there's a million great brands out there. Like there's a million awesome brands.
Mhm.
Um and so did you feel like immediately that Elka was unique? Did you feel like you had a something like a different twist on what the other industry is offering? Like,
Mhm.
how are you facing some of these challenges in a competitive watch market?
It's really, I mean, okay. So the brand has today 2 years. So I mean, I did my Kickstarter in 2022. Okay, I delivered the first watch in September 2022, and I officially started the company in November, mid of November 2022. So the brand is not all that at all. The thing is, it takes time because nobody is waiting for a new brand like Elka. So it's not easy because I mean, you can push, you can be the best in marketing. You have really to push all the time. You need also, I mean, I'm by myself. I mean, working by myself. I'm a one man show in my company, which is fantastic. I love that because you can write text, you can design the product, you can sell the product, and you do everything. And that is really a fantastic job. But it's not easy to make it known. So then you have to find all the ways, and you have also to be smarter than big brands, because big brands, they do have also the capability of investing in marketing, in communication, in events, and all of that. And being alone and with your own budget is really more complicated. So I see a lot of new brands coming on the market. It's amazing what they are doing. So I will not name them because
Of
okay, I will see
course.
them. I mean, the end of this week, because there are the Geneva Watch Days,
Yep.
and so most of them are investing. They are there, so they are doing events. It's fantastic. So they are really pushing. And today, I would say there are lots of competition in the micros. A lot good, a lot less good, but a lot of competition, and not easy to fight against. I mean, we are not fighting against. So I'm helping also other brands, talking
Sure.
about what we do, what we can do, with whom we are working, and so on. So we are, I mean, not in a big group. Then we help us together. I mean, to find the way to develop each other.
Yeah. Yeah, and something I never told you this, but I used to work in the beer industry. So I come from the alcohol industry. And something that you see in the alcohol industry, which you don't see in the watch industry, is that same community, right? So, like here in Las Vegas, like you have a brewer on the north side of town, and then you have a brewer on the south side of town, and
Hmm.
they're brewing beer together
Hmm.
and creating like a special beer that is like,
Hmm.
that they both can use and market and this and that. But something that I haven't seen too frequently in the watch industry is watch brands collaborating with each other, you know?
Yeah, I did a proposal to one of another. I mean, another brand that is really strong in terms of shape, face, something like this. So something that I had the feeling that we could merge together and do something really even more special because they have something. I mean, inside which is special, and my shape is the sapphire crystal and the case, and
Right.
the idea is to mix and to merge the two different brands, and I mean that could be a nice collaboration.
Is that something we should count on, or is that something that
I
it's
still have
just
to discuss. I still have to discuss. You know, I mean, working by my own, so there are lots of people in my head, and so we have we can talk a lot and share ideas. So then,
sure.
I still have to convince them doing something that would be really nice.
I can't see you having to do much convincing. All it takes is putting one of your watches on wrist to kind of, I'm not just saying that, right? You really have a special product,
Okay.
and I'm sure you probably know, like before you and I got connected, I was sending you emails like every week trying to get your attention. And, finally you replied to me. And, I also work in cybersecurity. So like I was able to get your personal email instead of like going through the forum. I'm sure you probably remember, like, hey, how did this kid get my email? Like, but but no, no. So would you say your customer base is here in North America, US, or would you say that Elka watches are more popular back home in Switzerland?
No, I would say, I mean, I have a big community. I'm a lot of customer coming from USA. I think, you know, because I started selling also online, and I would say probably, I mean, the fact is people in the USA, they are not afraid about buying on the net. And I think, I mean, in Switzerland, the people, they have to see the product, they have to understand the product because they are going to spend some amount of money. And I think USA is, I mean, they they're used to buy on the net, and I think it's easier also to sell in the United States
I
today.
I've I've done some consulting with some other watch brands, because I've had a weird career, but I started off in marketing. First of all, I worked at a brewery. Then I left the beer industry, the alcohol industry, and I went into marketing. And then I started doing marketing in the cybersecurity industry, which is a challenge, right? Because everybody is there's always something going on in that industry. Um, but something I noticed is you're absolutely right, is how mature the market is here. And when I first started consulting with some of these Swiss watch brands, they're I'll say off stream, right? I don't want to blast them out there. Um, but they were selling watches online, right? And the way that you paid for those watches online is you had a Swift number, you had a bank number, and they're like, oh, here's how you pay. You wire transfer the money to us. And I
Mhm,
was like, no Americans are gonna want to do that. Like,
mhm,
everybody's used to just being able to use their credit card, pay for it, and have it arrive. Um, but it's such a common thing in Switzerland that you guys send money through wire transfers like all the time. It's very common.
mhm,
And you're absolutely right. The watch market here is very mature. Um, Are you making any assuming you're probably trying to do you have any intention on coming to some of the watch shows in America? Like, is that on your roadmap to
I would love to. I would love to. Okay, but then you need to. I mean, to develop and to be I mean on different exhibition, but slowly and slowly. So this year I went to Inorgenta, then I went to Time to Watch in
Yep.
Geneva, then now I'm going to Geneva one day, then after that I'm going to Hong Kong, then right after there is another exhibition in Switzerland, then after that I'm going to Paris, probably I'm going to Czechia. So then, I mean, I need also time to recover, I mean, and to develop the product and to follow also my business. But I would love to come to the United States and also to show my product. Someone went to USA, to Chicago this year with my brand.
Yeah.
And so he presented the brand to the local people, yeah, and they like it. They liked it, yeah.
Um, let's go back a little bit into the design space because our audience is obsessed with design talks, and I know every brand out there is having fun, and you see a lot of brands that are kind of segmenting themselves by materials,
Hmm.
right? They're developing their own proprietary materials and cases and case, material. I mean, it seems kind of I guess I don't know if gimmicky is the right word. Um but are there any materials that you're planning to use in the future? Um
No, this is kind of trend. What I said before, I want to have a product that can be worn today, can be worn in 50 years, and could be worn also 50 years ago. And if you look at the watches, of course, they were in brass in the past, but look was like gold or like stainless steel. What I want is a design. It's not the material. Today, I mean, you can see, okay, I was working also for ceramic watches at Rado, okay, known for the ceramic, fantastic product. Uh, but it is also super niche to have something like this. It doesn't please to anyone. I mean, depend on the color also you are going to add. You can see, I mean, product like, for instance, in carbon fiber. Okay, this is over. I mean, if someone is doing something today, probably, I mean, he can relaunch a new trend. You can see also the forged carbon. So I had once last week I had one piece. I mean, from 2005 or 2010, something like this in hand, is something which is outdated. If you use, I mean, that's my opinion. So, I mean,
of
it's just, I
course.
mean, it's only myself
Sure.
what I'm saying. So, if you try to use kind of different materials, it's fine. Everyone has also to have his own DNA in the product. But for me, I mean, a watch is a watch. It's something that is has to be recognizable, something that has to last for years. This is the uh, um, I mean, the how did you say that? Yeah,
Like the foundation of your brand.
the foundation of the brand, of course. I mean, on the Arinis, okay, I'm using rubber, I'm using ceramic
Sure.
insert,
Yeah.
I'm using the sapphire crystal in dome shape. Okay, there are plenty of things, but this is something that is not going to hurt. It's not something that is going to disappear. It's not going to be something that is going to be outdated. And yeah.
What do you feel? Because I was thinking in my mind because of the form factor. Um, I mean, I'm surprised you haven't had fun with a little bit of fun with titanium. You know, is it not as appealing to you as steel or?
Yeah, I love titanium. It's light, but again, titanium is it doesn't please to anyone because sometimes you can hear it's too light for me.
I've never heard that.
You
But
never
yeah,
heard that? It's,
no.
yeah, I did many in the past. I mean, that could have been in Hamilton, also in Rado, and I did many watches in titanium.
Sure,
Fine,
sure.
but sometimes people they always say, "Hey, it's too light." You know, I
I
mean, it's to have something that has the right weight, the right thing that you feel well on your wrist. It's fantastic. So, and that is also something. But okay, never say never. I don't know. Okay, maybe in 1 year, so I will wake up in the
you
morning and say, "Oh, let's
you
do
you
it."
you see people are trying, like, to create a product that meshes to you, right? Like, you see people that are like, in your specific product, right? Like the case shape. I've said it a million times already. Like, the case shape makes your watch so comfortable, right? It sits so well on the wrist that you don't want to take it off, you know? And so people are trying to, and the reason why I say that is because you people see people that are getting lighter and lighter and thinner, and it's like a rat race in the watch industry. People are trying to make the thinnest watches and the lightest watches because the watch that people are gonna wear every single day is their most comfortable watch, in my opinion.
Mhm.
And so I was just curious to get your take on that. Um, and then, we're coming up here. We try and shoot for an hour, so we're coming up to an hour. I'm assuming, obviously, it hasn't been all the beautiful moments, right? Starting this watch company, and we hear about your accomplishments and we see them on your website, but I'm sure there's some challenges that you faced, and I'm curious to hear about some of those challenges and how you've overcame them.
I would say, I mean, the challenges are not in the development of the product because I love that. It's for me. I mean, it's kind of. I mean, it's not a second life. It's. I mean, I'm breathing that developing. I'm a developer. I love that. I love developing. So you can see. I mean, the whole. I'm 25 years working in the watch industry. I was developing, and sometimes people were saying, "Okay, just be relaxed. I mean, don't develop that much." And I can still see also some products just launched by my previous company, and they still launch product that I developed 4 years ago, and
Wow.
they just launched them now. Okay, means so I had a lot of watches, and sometimes people are saying, "Okay, you always have something into the drawers." So that's fantastic. I love developing. I can develop. I mean, at any moment of the day. Sometimes I have to be quiet and relax because I first have to sell my products
Totally.
before I mean going ahead. So I think that's the most complicated things to not develop because you have to wait. And I don't know. I mean, it's not in my nature to be patient. That's the most
Yeah.
complicated.
Yeah, I mean, I'm also assume since you're a designer, you have the perspective on the watch market that not a lot of us have. Um, are there any trends that you're forecasting or that you're observing and you're thinking, okay, this might be something that Elka plays in, or does it go against your kind of rooted in the 60s like identity?
You know, as I told you before, I think my brand, so Elka, is based on the past element, and I guess it's something that is not going to hurt also in the future. It's something that is, I would say, also sustainable because you can wear it today, you can wear it in 10 or 20 years. So I already say that. But I
Sure.
think this is the trend that I can see something that is not going to change too fast. Change, everything is changing too fast today. So you can see, I mean, what people are wearing today is connected watches. Maybe there is one brand which is the most popular than all the others, and this is going fast and changing. And you have to buy, I mean, one every year, or at least maybe each 2 years, because I mean, so technology is going to be changed, and you have to adapt. And I want to stop everything. So with my design, to stop everything, to stay at a level. Of course, I mean, you have to evolve because the planet, everything is evolving. But I want to have something which is sustainable, something that is going to last for years, something that is going, something that you can pass to your children and grandchildren, and something like this. And I want to see something like this. And I would say this is my idea of the watch for the next years. I don't know, but
And that's a great point. Um, now that you have this living, breathing, successful brand, and you've got a great product, uh, what does the next decade or even further look like for Elka?
um, so next decade is, I mean, times flies, of course, but okay, in 10 years, I hope so I can continue like this. Probably, okay, now I'm in the 60s, and probably in 10 years I will be in the 70s, or maybe in the 80s.
Okay. Okay. And that makes a lot of sense. Do and I'm assuming that you're probably not going to be able to answer this, or maybe it's impossible because it's like asking who your favorite child is. But which of your designs and collections is the one and done for you? If you say, hey, look, this is the only Elka I would ever wear, it would be this watch.
This
Can't
is not
answer.
feasible because, I mean, once I develop one product, I want to wear it. So that's the problem. So I love them all, of course, but my problem is, I told you, I'm a developer and I love the new one.
The Arinis, yeah, yeah. Ironically, I was in Iowa for like a watch event, and I took my Elka and I showed it off to a group of people, and it was crazy just to see the feedback. I mean, obviously it's not my feedback, it's or the response, should I say, right? The response that everybody was like, hey man, this is super cool, this is super special, like where can I get one? Hopefully they've purchased some from your website since
Hopefully.
then. But it was really cool to kind of see, I'm sure, the customer connection, right? The vintage nostalgia, but the familiar feelings that you have when you're wearing one of your watches, and just getting the chance to enjoy that moment was epic, just to
Mhm,
see the response. And
mhm,
um my dogs are having a wrestling match out there, but uh um and so yeah, I was curious about that because to me the X is the epitome of everything I enjoy in a watch.
yeah.
um but honestly, the Arinis now, since you've released it, that's been the one that my friends have been saying, hey, have you seen this one yet? No, I haven't. No, I haven't. um and you're heading in a great direction, and hopefully you'll spend a little bit more time in the 60s, because that is the golden era. The 60s and 70s are the, in my opinion, the golden era of watchmaking, where you had tonu cases and these weird fun colors, and like um I mean, those are the golden years for
Mhm,
watchmaking, in my opinion.
mhm. Mhm.
and yeah, yeah. So, and then let's get one more question in. Um, I'm assuming you've probably sold enough of your watches where you've seen them in the wild, right? You're walking down the street and all of a sudden you see somebody that is wearing one of your watches. Uh,
So
and I'm sure that's one of those feelings that you're like, okay, this is the best. This is the reason why I continue to
this is
do it,
the
right?
best. And I just want to tell you a small story. I mean, it happened
Please.
some recently. That was 3 months ago. So there were a TV show, and it was about diamonds. And so my watches are sold in a jewelry shop in Geneva. And so he was interviewed by the Swiss national TV about diamonds, and then the jeweler was also saying, okay, okay, I'm also selling watch from young brands. And then the camera did just a small slide, slide on the watches, okay, but nobody say anything about the name of the brand. But just the camera went on the watches, and then I had 5 phone calls directly. We saw your watches on the TV, okay, and then I went to see, the TV show just to see the watches, and it's amazing because just the shape was recognized by the people, and this is amazing. Okay, this watch was also on, and also the color, which is really, it's not so clear. Okay, and this
Yeah.
one is my bestseller, and this one was on the display in the shop, and it was amazing. 5 people just calling me right after, okay, we saw your watches on the screen, which is something which was so nice, having that. So even without the logo, nothing, people recognize them, and that is what I wanted to have also with this brand.
That's a watchmaker's dream, to have a silhouette that is
Yes,
instantly recognizable. And of
yes,
course, we haven't said any brand names right
no,
in this podcast except for yours. So I'm not gonna say that, but you can spot certain watches from a mile away,
hmm,
right? And once you have that happen with your brand, like I'm sure that's the like, okay, this is what I signed up for. This is everything I hoped for. And I'm sure it had to be an awesome experience and moment.
hmm,
And
exactly.
yeah, yeah. We need to work on getting you some dealers here.
Would be
Um,
fantastic. I love.
I can connect you with a couple people that have a distribution company. Um, because obviously everybody knows, like, on this podcast we get anybody who wants to come on and talk watches. We're pretty open. We've had a diverse panel of guests, and yeah, I really think, and I actually took your watch to one of my local jewelers, like maybe a couple weeks ago, and she was like, hey, like, I want to see some of the coolest watches in your collection that I could carry, right? And she saw your watch, and I just was going on and on and on. I had like 10 or 15 watch brands
Mhm,
on the table, um but your brand really resonated with me, um just because of I take, I look, the most important thing for me in a watch is legibility, right? Legibility, practicality, and comfort. Those are the three things that I prioritize over anything, right? And yours is like a cocktail of that. And so I just kept kind of saying, like, hey, hey, this is the watch brand that, I think you need to carry. Like, this is the one that I love wearing. And, I love all my watches and all the watches in my collection and in different ways. Um, but anyways, yours is very unique. And yeah, obviously I'm not just saying that because you're sitting in front of me. I've said that to other people, and I'm sure they'll vouch for me that I believe this. And yeah, I definitely want to see you kind of open the doors more to the States. And because there is a large portion of our customer, or of the US market, that does demand to see the product before
Of
purchasing,
course. Yeah.
right? And
Mhm.
yeah, people are saying, hey, look, there's a $2,000 product, which is it's a lot of money. It's a lot of money no matter
It
what
is.
type of watch
Mhm.
you're buying.
Mhm.
And so, a lot of the micro brands tend to play in the cheaper sandbox. They're
Mhm.
like the 500, 600, 800, $900 mark, and that's where they're kind of sitting, and they can sell those left and right and move them. Um, but you're definitely kind of stepping up in better attention to detail, finishing, quality, uh and so you definitely have to figure out a way to get your product in front of the customer, because people will buy them, and I want to see that happen.
Yeah,
So yeah. All right. So we have just finished up about an hour here with Hakim from Elka. It's been an honor having you on. We've been trying this new thing, and I don't know how many times we've done this. The episodes just all blur together for me because we're just recording so many of them, and I think we're 5 episodes already recorded before Hakim here. But we've been turning our platform over to our guest. So you answered pretty much all the questions I had. Is there anything that you feel like we didn't cover that you wanted to talk about, that has been burning a hole waiting for you to say? Is there anything that you have to say directly to our listeners?
No, I think, I mean, you ask everything, and you have seen also more or less, I mean, from far away, the novelty, which is going to be launched November the 1st. Then no, I don't have something special to say, but of course, I wish to see more Elka watches in the United States.
Yeah, I want that too. By the time this has been recorded and published, our YouTube video will already be out. Um, and hopefully people will see what I am talking about, because I'm actually going out today and buying a whole new camera system, because at this point we're getting so many watches in, and
Hmm.
I have this crazy camera, and it's so difficult to produce content with it because of the workflow, right? Like, I just can't, like, like, you can flip a page and start drawing, right? Like, when you're filming content, you can't do that. Like, you have to set up the camera, you have to change the colors, you have to make sure the mics are like, it makes it hard for me to deliver consistent content because we have so much like refinement that has to go down in post production. So anyways, I've already shot yours on my old camera, but I'm gonna go get a new camera today, and I'm probably gonna reshoot it so that way I can get it out sooner. Um, and I plan to do a lot more content with your brand, um, and anything that I can do here at Lonely Wrist. We are a smaller outlet. Our website does get the bulk of our audience, and then the podcast, and then the YouTube is the third. Not so popular as the newest, right? Um, but anything that I can do, I'm a fan, and I would be happy and honored to help you in any type of way on this journey, and I mean that. So
Good. Thank you very much.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in. Just over an hour here with Hakim from Elka. We are going to leave the link to Elka in the podcast description. By then, you'll have seen our YouTube video, and hopefully, there's no more convincing that Hakim has an awesome product, and hopefully, they'll be coming to a city near you very soon. Thank you so much for
Thank
coming
you.
on, and we will talk soon.